you that my tripod like toppled over right as we were about to go live. So hopefully it stays standing up and it doesn't do that. Every freaking tripod that I get that says like, oh, it can hold like the newer phones, they all end up breaking after a couple freaking weeks. It's like, yeah, at first they can, and then over time it's just too much for them. So I'm gonna have to just try to find a tripod that doesn't have a light attached to it and hope that works better, and then get separate lights. It's just, the thing that's so hard about that is I don't have like a separate filming space in this condo, so I constantly have to like take everything down and put it away after I do videos or lives, and I don't have a great space to store bigger equipment. That's why I was trying to find tripods that had the light and the pod combined. But I guess we just have to buckle down and figure it out. So hey, At the Real Goddess. Hey, Preston. Hey, Lindsay. Oh my God, Lindsay, I see everybody complaining about that on like every time I'm looking up like the tripod ring light combinations. Everybody complains about the same thing, that they only work for a while and then they end up just completely like toppling over, snapping off. And it's just like, oh my God, like it's so difficult to find one that's actually works. So oh, thank you, At the Real Goddess. I just like threw my hair up like 5 minutes ago because it was just like being so annoying. And I apologize, guys. The gardeners are out. I think we got new gardeners at our complex. And like they were here like last Thursday and now they're here on a Tuesday. And I'm like, what days are you coming so I can try not to film when you're gonna be here, because this is so annoying. So just because sometimes, you know, the microphones pick up on weird shit. So I'm always like, oh my God, is it gonna pick up and like hyper focus on like the leaf blower in the background or something? So all right, Preston. Well, I gave you a shout out on today's podcast that I uploaded on the backup channel. So I answered one of your questions over there and I shouted you out. So make sure you listen to that one later too. So anyways, oh my gosh, you guys, like, I just want to preface this to say, because I know everybody was hoping that I was going to like touch on the diddle bob stuff. I have separate videos coming out, and multiple of them, and they will be up sometime later this week, because we just kind of talked about it on Saturday in Patreon, and I shared some tea that I had about that situation. And afterwards, it's like, because I just kept, you know, thinking about like everything that had gone on. And so I inadvertently started channeling stuff. And so I've been like writing everything down. And every time I think like, okay, I'm going to go sit down and do a video, then like I keep hearing wait from spirit, and then more stuff starts coming out. So we're doing those separately. But it's just kind of interesting how all of this popped off, and you know, everybody's wondering what's going to happen with Croatia, and that will be a part of the videos too, don't worry. But I just found it interesting because like for some reason me and Dario just kept talking the last couple weeks about how like a lot of like trophy wives and sugar babies and mistresses have kind of been going out sad and bad lately, with like Kim Zolciak's, you know, bankruptcies and all of her crazy like debts and suits and woes. And then, you know, another one from the Housewives franchise, like Erica Jane, because I'm sure that at some point, like, you know, she never imagined that not only was she going to end up divorcing him and there's nothing to take, but also that she was going to be on the hook for millions of dollars in legal fees for all the lawsuits that she keeps getting dragged into. So it's just like, you know, and now everybody's talking about if Carisha's life and career is going to be destroyed because of her association with Diddle Bop. And we were just talking about, you know, like how music has been so pushing, like be a city girl, be a hot girl, be a sugar baby. And now, you know, it's like, do you really want to do that? Because look at all of the like crap that we've been seeing people have to deal with because of that type of stuff. So, you know, it was just like the universe has kind of been like, hey guys, maybe this isn't the thing that everybody needs to jump on trying to be a part of right now. So, and sometimes the universe works that way, you guys, that it will have a bunch of these types of different situations from different people all suddenly kind of expose themselves, and it comes out as really kind of the antithesis to whatever has been the popular thing recently. And it is because the universe is like, listen, everything's not always what it's cracked up to be, and look at the stuff that you got to worry about, you know, with these kind of situations sometimes. And it's really, that's, the universe always works in mysterious ways, guys. So yeah, I have to look more into the ASAP case, because I thought I knew like what was going on with that, but I think I got it confused with somebody else's case. So that's why I was like, let me just check into that a little bit more before I do any readings on it, so I know what, you know, is going on to know what to ask. So, but, and hey, Teddy, Ahira, Ronette, Preston, Lindsay. Who else is in here? We already said hi to At the Real Goddess and Donna. So, anyways, and you guys will probably get a video from me on Thursday. I'm gonna be working on Thursday. It's my kiddos' dad's turn to have him for Thanksgiving this year. So I was like, well, since I'm not going to be doing anything, I'm not a holiday person anyways. So I'm not like really like, oh my God, I'm so sad that I can't celebrate Christmas or Thanksgiving or Hanukkah or whatever, you know. It's like I only participate in those things or do anything for it when I have my son, just so that way, you know, for his sake. So I was like, well, we're going to work. We will make sure you guys are entertained while you're cooking your turkeys. So I know we're supposed to switch off like the every other year. Like if I have him for Christmas this year, then next year his dad gets him for Christmas. But it sort of ended up for some weird reason that like I had him for Thanksgiving 4 years in a row and his dad had him for Christmas 4 years in a row. And so his dad brought it up and was like, I want to do Thanksgiving this year. I was like, no problem, because for some reason I wasn't really like, you know, all, oh my God, I want to cook this year. Like I felt like the last couple years anyways. So I was like, you enjoy that. But I know, poor kiddo. He already asked me if I can make him Thanksgiving food when he comes back anyways. So I'll still end up cooking Thanksgiving type food regardless, but just not on Thanksgiving. So, hey Raina, how are you, babe? You're celebrating Thanksgiving with a close friend and her family. That's nice. Dude, I saw people on Instagram like having like a freaking conniption fit because who was it? Oh, Young Miami, like, had, like, Jamaican food for her Friendsgiving. And they're like, you're supposed to cook Thanksgiving food. And it's like, but who the hell wants to eat turkey twice in 1 week? Like, you can cook whatever the hell you want for Friendsgiving anyways. But, like, I don't know, if I was gonna have, like, a Friendsgiving celebration, like, I wouldn't want to cook Thanksgiving food either. I'd be like, let's get crab legs or something. So I just thought that was weird how people were having a fit about that. I had to remember for a second. I was like, who was it that was? I was like, oh yeah, her. Because she's doing everything that she can to post about anything else to distract us from her connection to Diddle Bop right now. So the other day it was, look at me and the kids at a football game. Then it was, oh my God, look at my Friendsgiving. So that way it's like, oh, she's not in hiding, but she's definitely not going to address that stuff. And she wants you to think about her in a different way. Dude, that would actually be so bomb. Get a big ass seafood boil with your friends. That would be hecka fun, actually. So, anyways, let's get into our people that we have on the chopping block for today. So, Summer Walker and Musty Meech have spun the block around again. So let's see what's going on there. I mean, and listen, this is YouTube. Number one, so we have to be careful about certain things that we ask. Number two, I'm not trying to end up being Tasha K Jr. and be getting sued because anybody got any kind of allegations going on their channel. So I know that a certain girl that said that she was dealing with Meech said that he told her certain things about Summer, but we are not going to even go there with those because, like I said, we're not a Tasha K channel, okay? So just do not ask about that. If it pops up in the chat from anybody who comes in, mods, please delete it. So we can't be diagnosing people anyways. We can't be talking about that kind of stuff. We're not doctors. So somebody said they could smell them from a block away and that someone was me. And hey, Ronette. Hi, Ronnie. Hi, Mimi. Hi, Hannah. I'm glad you guys were able to make it. So let's see, because she, you know, hey, Monique, because the she just went all out on Instagram being like, I'm not Jada. I'm not going to spin the block with a cheating dude only to turn around and do exactly that anyway. So I just want to see, like, what is Summer Walker's mindset getting back together with Meech? That's what I really want to know. Like, what in the hell got into her that she decided, I need to go back and get back with this little ass boy again? Oh, thank you, Hannah. Summer is a damn mess. A mess. Oh, boy. Okay, first of all, was Summer running around telling people that she didn't care about getting married or something like that? Because it's talking about, like, telling the world one thing, but having the desire, like, secretly to still do that thing anyways. And that thing that's coming up is marriage, and Spirit saying that before shit hit the fan the first time around, they were talking about getting married. But Spirit saying, you know, like, she got way more caught up in the idea of it than he did. Like, you know, guys will fucking say anything. because it sounds like, yeah, I could handle doing that, but then when it's time to do that thing, they freak the fuck out because it's like, oh, I was just saying it, I wasn't ready for it, or I didn't really mean it. And so Spirit saying that, you know, he was pillow talking and she got all caught up in it and really started seeing it as like, oh, well, we could be this perfect, happy little family, because he is good with her kids and he does like her kids a lot. Although, I mean, are we surprised? He's barely like not a kid himself. So of course he's going to relate to them. But I mean, and this isn't even about just like Meech's age. Like Spirit saying he has a very young, like immature spirit to him. And he only shows up as the Knight of Cups anyways in this spread. And it's like, this is the thing where it's like so confusing to me about Summer's mindset, because Spirit's saying that in a sense she does think of him as another child that she's parenting. Like, you know, the way that like JT described Uzi, and she's like, oh, he's like a little kid and he's all over the place. It's like Summer feels the same way about Meech, but she also kind of likes it because it's like I don't know why Spirit keeps saying like home field advantage, but I think it's more like, oh, like I can kind of be more the dominant person in this relationship and lead it a bit more when you have this more younger, like immature mindset and you want somebody to take care of certain things for you because you don't want to have to do them and deal with them. But it is like so convoluted that like she would, you know, feel that way. She thinks that like, oh, he learned his lesson because she put him in the doghouse by dumping him for helping his cousin with the groceries, and that he's not gonna do this shit again. Summer, you are Delulu. We have the Delulu card coming and showing up as Summer's mindset. Because she just so desperately wants to believe what she wants to believe to hold on to the fairy tale that she created in her head, because it really is. I really saw us and started imagining us as this perfect family, perfect stepdaddy. We have all the kids together. I'm the spiritual witchy girl. You're the gangsta guy. Like, how freaking cute. Like, she even started Spirit saying to see herself and him as like the second coming of Erykah Badu and Andre 3000s. And it's just like, girl, it's more like Erykah Badu and Tyrone. Okay, like, what the fuck? She really thought they were going to be some kind of power couple in the industry together, y'all. I'm sorry, but this is just so funny. I'm just like, oh my God, the delusion. No, she really sees them as this power couple out here getting the bag together. So, and on top of it, Spirit's also talking about the ego thing. I want to prove to people, I want to prove to my baby daddies that a man can still want me and love me and value me. I want to prove to all these hoes that were trying to get with my man that like, oh, look, he came running back home where he knows that he belongs. I want to prove to people that this wasn't, you know, a sham bullshit relationship and that it was legit and we do love each other and we're going to work on things and be a family. And it's like, she's so caught up in all of that and these delusions of being this neo soul power couple and making all this money together, because Spirit say she was even like, oh, we could have a show together. Like, she really was all up in what they could be accomplishing and doing together as a couple, that she refuses to really see the reality of. He might have fun playing house with you right now, girl, but this boy, because he is a boy, he has not become a man yet. He is not ready to settle down and be daddy and husband and keep his butt at home and not run around in the streets anymore or run around with other women. So, but Spirit's saying that this is what Summer does. She jumps all in with somebody. She romanticizes the hell out of the situation instead of seeing the reality. She assigns a bunch of potential to these guys that they're never able to end up living up to. And then when shit hits the fan, she ends up so heartbroken. But in the meantime, she refuses to listen to anybody that's trying to like warn her and say, hey girl, London on the Track has all these baby mamas that he got all this beef with for a reason, and that's gonna be you too. Like, she didn't want to hear that, right? When everybody told her that she rushed into everything with Larry and was getting his name tattooed on her face, everybody told her to slow down. She didn't want to listen to that. And so it's like she gets caught up in these, I'm gonna go so fucking hard and die on this hill to prove everybody wrong. And then she always ends up, you know, with disastrous results and a broken heart. But the problem is, it's like, okay, everybody's been there and done that at some point in their life to a certain degree. Maybe not to as big of a degree as her of having babies with every single one of these dudes. But, you know, we were all there when we were younger that we did stupid shit and rushed in and then ended up, you know, fighting with friends who tried to warn us and then it turned around and it was like, okay, I guess they were right that he was a cheater or whatever. But she keeps bringing all these new guys into these kids' lives and creating more broken homes and more baby daddies. And that is going to have a negative effect on them in the future. And it is just re-perpetuating generational trauma by doing that. And I mean, for God's sakes, too, like, this is the thing. I know Summer's like, oh, I want to have 1 million kids. If you're going to have 1 million kids and do it like the single mother route, then either like do IVF or do what Angelina Jolie did and go adopt a bunch of kids from a bunch of different countries. Because it's just like these poor kids, like they're going to grow up and be like, I didn't get to see my dad that much. Like, even if their dad wasn't a complete deadbeat, it's still like, you know, they're missing out on having their own dad in their house with them, and that still plays a factor in things. But she is definitely ditzy. Plus, when you have a bunch of kids with a bunch of different people, like look at Nick Cannon, his kids don't even all get to spend time with him together or get to have relationships with each other. And so they miss out on like being around all their siblings or being all able to be under one roof at the same time because everybody has to go on different days with their dads. So it's just, girl, like the logistics of it is what like would stress me out. Who has who on what day and making sure to try and keep up with that. So Meech was born in the year 2000. He's really young. Oh my God. How old is Summer? She's in her 30s, right? I mean, I'm not saying that like you can never date a younger person or a younger man as a woman, but like you have to, when you're dating people that are in a different age bracket, you have to understand that people have different life experiences and different levels of life experience at different ages. And so when you are in your 30s or 40s and you're dating somebody that's a very young adult, there's stuff that they still have to go through and to catch up with you. And like people need to remember that. So that's why it's like everybody isn't in a relationship always going to be ready for the exact same thing at the exact same time anyways. But then you add in big age gaps and it's like, well, why would you think a 23-year-old man is ready to like settle down and get married, especially when he's like, at that height of his career where he's just basically starting to like pop off. And, you know, at the end of the day, like, we don't know how long Meech's like career is gonna be. Maybe like the whole like, you know, being whatever that show is called, like that might be like the end of it for him. Like, oh yeah, you were in that one show and then nobody ever heard or saw from you again. So it's like he's got to figure all that shit out. He's not ready mentally to get married. And I mean, Spirit saying they fight like crazy anyways. This is going to end in another cheating scandal. So, and Summer's going to definitely end up extremely heartbroken and disappointed once again. So it's just, he's not ready for what she wants. She needs to actually date a man that's a little bit older than her if she's really looking to hurry up and get married and have more kids and all of that. Get a guy that's in his mid-30s or his, you know, early 40s that's already, like, done the whole partying and dating stuff and is, you know, in that mindset of, like, I'm ready to start settling down. But, Summer. All right, what questions do y'all got about this situation? I just want to see, like, what in the hell got into this girl, because why are you going back? No pregnancy cards came up. So that's not to say that she wouldn't get pregnant or wouldn't be. It's just Spirit isn't saying anything about a pregnancy. So it's either not our business or it's not happening. How does Meech feel about her BBL? Oh my God. Do you know what I always wonder, hey Madeline, when somebody has a kind of not good BBL or like injections that, you know, maybe over time moved and don't look great, and they obviously have like money and resources and don't go get it fixed, I'm always just like, okay, that recovery from the first one probably was so much hell that you are so hesitant to put yourself through that again, because especially in the case of somebody like Summer, she then went on to go have other plastic surgery procedures. So it's not like she was like, oh, I don't ever want to have surgery again. But like, you know, people have been talking about that BBL for years and she keeps it around. And I'm like, oh, I bet like that must have like been like a hellish recovery and you just don't want to go through that again, that you're just trying to live with it for as long as possible. So, but I always sit there and wonder, like, the Kardashians must walk around just in pain all the time, you guys, because they are always getting so many procedures. And anybody that's gotten like surgery done that's gonna be realistic with you, like they tell you like, yeah, like most of the like pain goes away at a certain point, but you still have days where you get sore like around like wherever you got worked on, or like you're more swollen that day, and it takes like a full year to fully recover. And we know that the Kardashian clan does not ever go a full year in between any procedures. So I'm like, y'all must just be swollen and sore all the fucking time because you're constantly in a state of recovery, and that's like so sad. So let me see. I'm gonna just ask how Meek feels about her, Hannah, and we'll see if the BBL comes up, okay? Actually, Spirit's saying that he doesn't mind it. He thinks that she has a nice body otherwise, and it's not really something that, like, bothers him. I mean, guys, honestly, like, unless something is, like, so egregiously weird, they usually don't care too much about stuff. Like, we freak out about stretch marks and fupas, and guys will freaking suck on them for hours if we let them. So, They don't be noticing or caring or like turned off by all that stuff. Like, don't let society fool you. I have a fupa and no dude has ever been like, oh my god, I can't date you because you have a fupa and you have stretch marks. So, please. They got sweaty balls. Who the fuck are they to be judging us about stretch marks anyways, right? I mean, if social media is to be believed, most of them don't even know how to properly wash their ass. So if you're one of those people that thinks it's gay to put a washcloth in between your cheeks, you are not allowed to have an opinion on anybody else's life or body or anything. You need to worry about the fact that, as Nene Lee said, you're gonna have worms in your ass from walking around with shitty cheeks. Well, it's the damn truth. Come on. I mean, it's just these guys sit in their fucking mom's house in the same sweatpants that they've been wearing all week and want to type all kinds of insults and things about women's body like they're a fucking woman them own selves. It's like, what are you, Gossip Girl? Like, why are you even on like the fucking shade room in the first place? That's kind of sketch. And then you're literally sitting there like dragging somebody, a woman, because she put on a few pounds, or you think that her boobs are too big, or you don't like her dress or something. And it's just like, you sound real feminine right now, dude. But they be claiming that they're straight men. I know my soulmate has never been in a shade room comment ripping apart a woman's appearance. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, I don't want it. If that's what you're doing, you are not the person for me. Exactly. They talk like academics about females. And that makes me real scared because it's just like, first of all, sir, I know, and look at academics. I mean, my God, you know that room of his probably smells horrible. We saw those pictures that his ex put out with all the pimples on the bottom of his stomach or whatever the hell that was. So it's just like, you know, you are not the cutest thing in the world yourself, sir, but you still have a lot of shit to say about how other people look or should dress or appear to be, and that's not cute. So, you've always wondered how men properly bathe their nether regions? It's called soap and a washcloth and move shit around and get up in every crevice and crack with that soap and that washcloth and do not stop. Until you have gotten every single inch of it clean, and then rinse like hell afterwards and dry that shit up real good. It's not that much different from what a woman has to do. Come on. Room smelling like ham sandwich. Oh my God, no. Ugh. I don't eat pork. There is no spiritual or religious reason behind it. I've just always been utterly disgusted by it since I was a little kid. So the fact that you said ham sandwich, like, I'm just like, oh my God, nasty. I'm picturing Ack with a BBL. Oh my God. Well, listen, I will stand by, though. This is the kind of person that I am. I don't have to like you. But if you say some real shit that's the truth, I will acknowledge it. I don't like Candace Owens, but like sometimes she says some real ass shit that I have to be like, okay, I'm going to give Candace her flowers on that one. Same thing even with Donald Trump. But I can't stand those people otherwise. And I will say, you know, Academics was right in dragging people that have not addressed, you know, the Diddy situation to distance themselves from him or support Cassie or just speak on it at all. And, you know, the same way that he said that people were supporting Santana's weird R-word fetish that he had when he was threatening academics that way. He was right in both of those cases. I will give him that. Do I support him otherwise? No, not at all. But what Santana threatened him with was completely out of line. And if academics had threatened Miami saying something like that, he would have been canceled forever. If anybody else in the entire world threatened something like that, they would literally lose every single thing that they have. So we need to not make it okay just because it's Santana and because of however he chooses to identify. Threatening people with things like that is not okay regardless of who's doing it. So that's all I had to say about that. All this noise for Mucus, but it's crickets for Cassie. Exactly. Because look at how everybody was like, oh, we ride at midnight for the lion-ass horse. And it was all protect black women, protect black women. And then I've seen so many people saying Cassie was Caucasian and that she's not black. I'm like, well, Cassie is mixed. So she does have a black parent, but yes, she is a Filipino parent. But even at that, with her mixture, that still does not make her a Caucasian woman. That makes her Asian and black. Like, that was people's reasoning for why they were screaming protect black women for the horse, but not standing for Cassie. I don't know how a black Filipino woman becomes Caucasian suddenly, but like, what the fuck? I swear to God, the ponies will make up the craziest freaking excuses for her. And it's just like, oh my God, like I have never seen anybody like literally just like invent shit out of nowhere as an excuse to forgive everything that this girl does. Like when people were criticizing her for being, you know, kind of butt naked in the garden snake video, they were like, well, she has to be sexy and she has to sell sex. I'm like, why does she have to sell sex? Why does she have to be sexy? There has been plenty of times that Beyonce has performed in a freaking men's suit, completely covered up, and everybody still ate up the performance the same damn way as if she was in one of her little leotards and boot combos. Like, Christina Aguilera has done that. Like, everybody else has found ways to cover themselves up when the song and the video and the subject matter calls for it. You don't have to be butt naked every single time. Yes, if you're, you know, putting out a song like Thought Shit, of course, then it would make more sense for you to be in a thong than a tuxedo. But when you're in a freaking depression music video talking about your depression, like, you don't have to be naked for that. But like the way that they were acting, like, oh, like you can't ever open your mouth and perform a song unless you're half naked. I was just like, when did this become a rule? Yeah, Nicki's had plenty of performances where she was covered up. So it's just like, oh my God. Jada Black is a YouTuber and he's been calling out Mucus and her lies and how she took the protect black women and Breonna Taylor death and ran with it. He calls her an untalented lying heifer. That's true though. Hayden Porsche, I mean, think about it too. How many awards has Megan won? And during the same time that she was running around and using Breonna Taylor as her personality and pretending like she was the world's biggest advocate for her, how many awards and different moments did she have where she had to give some kind of a speech that we never once heard her say, shout out to Brianna's mom, or everybody support this cause? She never actually really spoke about it. She just used it in her visuals and brought it up whenever it suited her because she needed to defend herself and pretend to be a victim still. So, you know, it's complete and utter bullshit. She definitely co-opted that and used it for her victim campaign. So, hey, Mudflower. Hi, Na Porsche. Thank you. The most we've ever seen her covered up at the Real Goddess was when she went to go testify at Tori's trial when she wore that purple suit. But did y'all listen to Party's diss track? I was telling my Patreons, I was like, that tells you that, like, Mucus was making Party listen to me and Millie and stalk us, like, because she stalks us. It's just people that, like, keep up with everything that we say about her. And I was like, oh, she must have been making Party do it too, because when he said, beautiful girl, but your soul is disgusting, I was like, I know me and Millie both have said multiple times that she's a very beautiful girl, but she has a very dark soul to her. So, oh my God, it's actually a catchy song too. But he drags her. He opens up with, you talk shit about everybody. You take shots, but you don't hold yourself accountable, like calling her a drunk, basically. He said that he couldn't support certain things. He insinuated like he couldn't support her, you know, substance use. He freaking talked about how she slept with all these dudes and lied to him about it, and that he was out here embarrassing himself, like being cool with some of these dudes and then going after some of the other ones just because she lied and told him like, oh, well, I never hooked up with him. So it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go get in a fight with him because he's saying that you did. And then other people smiling in their face, not knowing that, like, oh, Megan was fucking them like right before we got together. He said she hooked up with Juju on the beat. What else did he say? He said, oh, that she dropped her diss track insinuating that he cheated on her on his daughter's birthday. That it didn't happen like that. He said, call the detectives. Girl, you're the feds. Not in your house, not in your bed. Like, basically, you know, making it like, if I did cheat on you, it did not happen in your house. But he also called her the feds, as in like, you set Tori up. So the more that you listen to it and like absorb what he's saying, you'll also see all the like basically like double entendres and like extra meanings that he threw in there on stuff, where he like put her ass on blast more than any of the blogs like even picked up on initially. So his song was better than hers. We should all stream it and have it charting higher than hers. That would be funny. Well, guess what? It was number 4 on trending on YouTube music the other day. So let's get it to number 1. You guys, if we get that to more views and to trend higher than Garden Snake, she is gonna lose her fucking shit, because they put a lot of money into the video and promoting that damn song. And here comes Party just in the middle of the night, like, bloop, here's a diss track, no warning. Oh, she's mad as hell. Oh, yeah, and he said that she posts all these gym pictures, but that the truth is that she got liposuction. And it's so funny because like it was like only like a day or two before that, an Instagram page, like I think it's called Surgeon Made Curves. It's the one that's friends with Carlos. They did a whole breakdown of all of the surgeries that they said that they know, and they said, I confirmed that she got these, and I confirmed who her doctor was, and like exposed all the like surgeries that Megan's had, the nose jobs, the boob jobs, the lipo, the Botox, and the BBL. So, which I told everybody, I was like, listen, the thing that we need to pay attention to in that whole situation also is both Carlos and Surgeon Made Curves have made it known that they have an association. Surgeon Made went with Carlos when she went back to, I think it was the DR, and got her last BBL and hips done situation. So this proves that Carlos and the horse are not friends the way that like people try to like make it seem like they are, because if Megan is really your friend and you're really friends with this blogger and you know, oh, she's going to do an expose, because listen, the girl was telling everybody for like a month before she made the post that she was going to do this. Wouldn't you say like, hey, don't like put that up about my friend? And Carlos has enough influence. We all know these bloggers are wishy-washy and they'll just get fucking excited that Carlos is talking to them and they'll just do whatever she wants just off of that fact. And she could have gotten it pulled. But remember that Carlos did a live, and I think it might have been with Surgeon Made Curves, or that's when she like was telling people that she's cool with that girl. And she was basically talking about her surgeries, and she said that she helped another girl in the industry get a nose job. And that was like the big thing that Surgeon Made was like, oh, Megan got a nose job and she got it from Dr. Gavami. And I confirmed it. And so I was like, gee, I wonder who told you which doctor that Megan used for her nose job. But y'all can keep believing that they're really friends and they really have each other's backs and they really care about each other. Just saying, Carlos is the source for a lot of the gossip that some of these bloggers have. Whether it's true or not. The horsies ain't even running it up for her like she wanted. Can you imagine Party getting a deal off the diss track? That would be funny. Doesn't he have a deal though? So, yeah. Anyways, I was like, let's get back to Meech and Summer, because then we gotta move on, because I have to get off of here by a certain time because I got clients that I gotta call. So I just always feel bad too. Like, I'm like, sometimes I know I like have to rush off here real fast, but then I think like if I was late and this person that's waiting for me to call them is like sitting there like, this bitch is on YouTube just talking to everybody, like I'm not fucking waiting for my appointment to start. Like, I would be mad if it was the other way around. So that's why I always try to make sure, like, let's not make anybody wait. So as far as how Meek feels about Meech, sorry, I was like, why do I say Meek? As far as how Meech feels about Summer, Spirit's saying he has a good time with her and he does like and enjoy like that sort of like family aspect that comes with, you know, being around her and the kids, and it's like, you know, that's fun. But and sometimes he thinks like it does make him think more about how he wants to have his own family in the future. But he definitely has a real big tendency to pillow talk with her. He'll get high, she'll give him some great sex, and in the middle of it, he's promising her the fucking world. And he really, you know, and I think that this is where that immaturity comes in, where it's like he doesn't think about the fact that like maybe she is really taking that seriously and thinks like, oh, that's where y'all are really headed. And instead it's like, oh, well, she knows people just say shit when they're, you know, sometimes, or like, yeah, like you're talking about the future is in like 20 years from now, not the future is in like 2 weeks from now. And she thinks that you mean 2 weeks from now when you say certain things. So that does come up as a huge problem, and Spirit is saying, you know, the closer that they get towards things getting bad between them again, the more and more that they will fight about this stuff, because she is gonna start pressuring him. Well, when are we gonna live together? When are we gonna have a baby together? When are we gonna get married together? When do you want to do this? And he's just like, huh, what? Oh, I didn't mean like today. When I said that, I meant like someday. And that will cause a lot of fights between them, and Meech will use that as an excuse to cheat. But it's like the way that his feelings come up, with the Page of Cups, Spirit saying to read it as like puppy love. It's a crush, it's an infatuation. Is he like seriously in love with her to where it's like, oh my God, I love this woman so much that I would like change my life to make sure that I can hold on to this magical connection that we have? No. It's like, it's fun for now, and then when it's not fun anymore, then it'll be done. Like, he's just kind of going day by day, regardless of whatever the fuck it is that he tells her in the moment. And he'll learn his lesson from that very quickly. But he does get caught up because Spirit's talking about that she shares these things with him. We can make money together. We can do this project together. Oh my God, imagine like, well, we could build this kind of a business together. So when she knows how to gas him up. She knows how to build up his ego. She knows how to make him feel like he's a big man and they're going to accomplish all these amazing things together. But Spirit saying, you know, it will definitely all fall apart because he's going to sabotage it. And it's like, the other thing that Spirit's saying is because he's so like needs to be mommied so much basically, and Summer herself can be a little all over the place and chaotic and unorganized, that it's like, even if they did have like the best idea in the entire world and it would be $1 billion company, like Summer is way too fucking disorganized, and she would keep changing her mind and wanting to do it differently, and then being like, oh, well, next week we'll work on it, and Meech needs somebody to tell him what to do every second. So it would be a complete disaster and not get very far anyways between the two of them and their kind of chaotic energy that they have. But it's definitely going to end in more cheating. And again, I didn't see any baby cards or pregnancy cards come up. So again, doesn't mean that they wouldn't get pregnant or have a kid together. It just means that either basically Spirit's like, not your business right now if they do or don't. So we will leave it at that. Now let's move on to, speaking of people who like to make a bunch of promises that we're not sure they'll be able to keep, Young Thug and Mariah the Scientist. And the reason why I added them is because I saw a clip of an interview that she did where she said that he's been telling her that when he gets out, they're going to get married. And I was like, oh, that just sounds like everybody's jail talk. So let's see what Spirit has to say about this relationship, because I was like, maybe he will, but every girl that's ever had a boyfriend that's locked up will tell you that they always are like, I'm gonna buy you a helicopter and a unicorn and we're gonna live in fairy tale world when I get out of here. And then it's like the second, you know, they're out for 2 weeks and then they get caught cheating on their baby mama. And it's like, I thought we were getting married. What the fuck? So right when I said that, siren started going off in your neighborhood, Lindsay. So, you guys, I will tell you this. Somebody online said, because, you know, a lot of people don't think that Megan, like, they don't think that, it's not that I think that people don't think that Megan is talented. I think that they don't think that Megan is the best writer. Like, she's kind of can only write certain types of songs. And so people were asking if she was going to hire Party to write the diss track back to himself for her. And then somebody else said that she was going to have to hire Pusha T because he's the only one for the job that can handle this job. Because listen, if you were those Pusha T disses to Drake, I actually would consider hiring him if I was her, but let's see if she does. I mean, and of course, there was all the people that wanted to be like, that's so misogynistic that he did that. And it's like, he didn't call her bitches and hoes or drag her name or threaten her with anything. He just told his side of the story. And it's like, everybody knows I don't like Party. I think that he's very bitch made. I always ask, what shade of Fenty lip gloss does he put on before he writes his female diss tracks so he can get in his feminine energy and pop his pussy around to get in the mood to write them. But he did a good job with it. And at the end of the day, if you're going to accuse the man of cheating in your comeback song, then you open the door for him to respond. I mean, it's only fair game, and that's what happens in rap. People go back and forth and respond to each other. Mariah, watch this video, sis. He ain't getting out. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. I don't think she has the money to do that. Listen, she should have saved that bag that she gave Future for that song that he didn't promote, that didn't go anywhere, and had it ready to go so that she could have afforded Pusha T when the time came. He reminds you of Drake mixed with Tristan. Oh, he kind of does, Mimi. Oh my God. Have y'all seen how fucking sassy that Tristan walks around with his fucking chest out, his arms swinging, with his shirt off? Like, oh, everybody's just so happy that I'm here, even though I just had a baby with somebody else last week. And I'm just like, really, Chloe, this is what you're stuck on? A very sassy man that talks real slow. Carlos King said he talks like a valley girl that bit his tongue too hard. And I was a fucking dying laughing. Dude, Carlos King went in on him. He was like, what an abomination to the men that are well-spoken and that have worked their butts off in their career for all this time to be able to sit at the table that they do. And then here comes Tristan Thompson in his sassy valley girl voice to add the most nonsensical comments only because Kris Jenner called and got him a job there. Dude, Carlos dragged him so hard. It was so fucking funny. It looked like he got his pussy gum broken into the night before. Oh, Party's a Capricorn sun and a Cancer moon. Oh, very opposing energies. I can't take trash cans seriously. I mean, I told you guys that this whole next season of the K-Clan was gonna be trash cans trying to, you know, give him his redemption era. And I don't watch the show. You can pay me enough to sit there and listen to. You know, like, I'm gonna eat a salad and then we're gonna talk about Kanye. And the most stressful thing in my life right now is that I don't know what clothes I'm going to wear anymore without Kanye here to dress me. It is a travesty. Like, fucking shoot me in the head, please. But it's all over the blogs, and it seems like he's on some kind of apology tour, because I saw him sitting down with like Courtney and Kylie, and then I saw somebody say that, you know, Courtney had a notebook with her, and they were like, this was probably so scripted, and Courtney's notebook said all the things that she needed to say to him, and that the reason why him and Kylie were sitting weird was because they had cue cards for Kylie. So I was like, I wouldn't put it past them, but apparently he's on the apology tour. I was like, oh, here we go. Kim, there's people that are dying. Maybe she can date Gunna. Oh my God. So back to our sassy man at hand, Mr. Young Thug. Never forget, he used to wear wedding dresses and give blowjobs to rifles. Dude, I remember when he first came out and people were like, oh my God, you have to listen to this guy. Like, especially because, like, I always, like, really, even though I grew up on the West Coast, like, I honestly, growing up, preferred more of the, like, the Atlanta, dirty South, New York rap over West Coast rap. Not that I didn't like anything from Snoop and people like that. It's just that that was more of my preference. So when Thug came out, especially because everybody knows how much I love Lil Wayne, they were like, you have to check out this guy called Young Thug. Dude, I remember going and looking him up, and he was wearing a wedding dress, sucking on a fucking rifle, and I was like, this is who I'm supposed to take seriously as a rapper? I mean, I know, like, things have really gone downhill since then, and that still seems somehow very masculine compared to, like, what a lot of these dudes are doing these days. But I just remember being like, you're telling me that I'm supposed to like this guy just because I like Lil Wayne's music? Like, I do not see the correlation between these two people. And I was so put off by that. Like, I didn't even, like, actually listen to the song. I was just like, yeah, I'm good. So, even though I love Chris, I never listened to his mixtape with Thug. Thug is diddle bop level gay. Oh my God. Well, Thug hides a lot of satanic shit in his music too. And so, like, when I have, like, listened to stuff that's not, like, mainstream, you know, more mainstream, like with Nicki on it or something, like the vibes and the energy that I get, like, I just can't, like, entertain his music. Used to mess with Young Thug. I ain't dressed in this shit. Caught him in my dressing room stealing dresses and shit, right? I, like, go crazy, not gonna lie. No, it's a good song. But yeah, see, in the Porsche, it's just like, there are certain people that they dabble in such dark shit that it's just like, regardless of if it's something that I might like otherwise, like, my spirit will not let me sit there and entertain it and listen to it. So, oh, and how funny too, because the devil card is on here. When I just look down, I'm like, oh. Is Slim Thug and Young Thug two different rappers? They are two different people. So you still get him and Rich Homie Quan mixed up. Oh my gosh. So, all right, guys, let's get into what's going on here. All right. First of all, poor Mariah. Girl, you're not the only girl that he's calling from behind them damn bars making promises to. It's just that, it's the same thing where it's like, Diddy has the whole harem, but who's the girl that he carries on with publicly? It's Carisha, right? People don't automatically, associate Diddy and Gina or Daphne Joy or any of the other females, that we're aware of that he's had like as a part of his little crew at some point or another. Thug has some girls, and like Spirit's talking about, like, they're not famous. They're like literally like in the hood. They've been around for a minute for him. He was helping them financially. They are loyal as absolute fuck to him. So they're not going to come out and be like, oh, guess what, Mariah? Your man calls me too all the time. But he didn't let all of his side pieces go just because he got locked up. And Spirit's saying he's hedging his bets too because he knows that if things go in a certain direction and he ends up locked up for a long time, people fall off the roster over time. So you got to make sure that you pad it up so that way as you lose some, there's still some around to make sure that you're good, to have somebody to talk to and write to, somebody put money on your books just so you don't feel all alone in there doing your bid. So, if he gets out, is he going to still be public about this relationship with her and present, we're the happy couple and everything? Yes, but it's because, it's the 10 of Pentacles. The appearance is of a happy couple, happy family, but you're benefiting financially from this situation. So it's like, oh yeah, we can, do all this music together because everybody's going to listen, like the same way that they released that one song where it was like the girls' version and the boys' version. They can do albums like that. They can do all kinds of stuff together and financially benefit if he gets out. But deep down inside, he doesn't feel like if he gets, even 20 years, the Mariah's going to sit around waiting for him. So he's hedging his bets on that. Also, Spirit saying he had this girl doing all kinds of fucking rituals with him right before he got locked up. Not only to help her for her career, but to try to stop what was coming for him. So there is a deep spiritual tie that is pulling her to stay around him and influencing her energy with him right now too. So it's like that, like where it seems like she's like stuck to him. It's like in a spiritual sense she is, because she was doing all this like spells with him and for him. So, which you guys, everybody in the fucking industry does spiritual work. I've told you that before. Or they pay people to do it for them. So, and it's come out like in some of that paperwork for court, didn't it? About like them sacrificing a goat or something like that, or them doing some kind of ritual or whatever. So, it's like she was participating in it with him just to try to help him. And so that both of them could make sure that money was coming in, because it's like, oh, you're going to have to help me with my legal fees. I'm going to have a bunch of expenses to pay for if I'm locked up behind bars. So, because they seized all his shit too and froze it. So it's like he has to have somebody that he can depend on that can help him financially until they unfreeze all his shit. But the government has all his stuff frozen, if you guys didn't know that. So allegedly Kevin Liles is paying for his attorneys right now until they get to the point where they decide to unfreeze assets or seize them or whatever. But yeah, I mean, he's just out here telling everybody anything and everything because he doesn't want to do this bid by himself. But is he dead ass serious about marrying this girl? No. Are they gonna last forever? No. Because at some point, too, Spirit saying even if she was willing to stick around for the 20 years, he would tell her to move on at some point as well. So at some point, this relationship will end and it'll be because of him. But there's no marriage, guys. So I'll take a couple questions about them and then we will move on to Bianca and Kanye. It's Teddy, like, basically they're accusing him of being, like, you know, a mob gang, whatever you want to call it. He's got RICO and racketeering charges. They're saying that he's the head of a crime syndicate. So, yeah, it does feel like her energy has been weird since she's been with him. What drew Mariah to him in the first place? Spirit's saying that he is very charming. Like, he knows exactly, like, how to get a woman to be all ushy-gushy around him and over him. And so it's like he's a slick talker. He's very charismatic. I mean, in Spirit saying, like, he would have to be anyways in order to just have the life that he's been living, to convince all these guys to do certain things on his behalf, to command the stage presence that he does, and be able to do all those performances and make all that music and everything. So it's like he's just a naturally charming person. So Spirit's saying, like, and he knows how to kind of like watch somebody and listen and then how to connect with them. Like, I paid enough attention, so I kind of have you figured out, so I know exactly what to say to get you to open up to me and connect with me. And so that's kind of like how he like won her over. So does young Thug think Mariah can actually sing? Yes, he does. I was saying she can. She just needs to do a lot of vocal exercises because she has a tendency to not rest her voice between performances. So then when she, you know, she'll be out talking and partying and doing all kinds of stuff, and then she goes on a stage that night and her vocal cords are like already like overextended, so she can't actually like sing the song great in person. But she's gonna have to, if she's serious about it, do what a lot of the people that, you know, are known for being great vocalists do, like Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey and Ariana Grande, that like they just drink hot tea and sit around with humidifiers and like whisper and don't really talk to anybody before big performances so that their vocal cords are just ready to go. So, all right. And then no more questions after this, guys. Does he still mess with Jerica? Let me see. Do you know what's funny is that Spirit's saying, out of all the women that Thug has ever met or dealt with, he has a very like deep respect for and connection to Jerica. And he sees so much potential in her that he feels like she hasn't even like accessed or like tapped into herself. But Spirit's saying they still keep in touch. And he still does tell her things like he loves her and he misses her, but they're not messing around, and Spirit's saying like he's not actively trying to get back together with her because he does feel like she's way too good for him. And it's like, even though like I love you and I would want to be with you, like that's selfish because you do deserve better than me, and especially like wanting to kind of protect her from everything that he's involved in right now. So I don't see them actually messing around anymore. An extensive amount of exercises because I can't see it for her. She smokes a lot of pot. You literally saw some of her horrible performances, and I'm afraid to listen to her albums. Oh my God, that's funny. So, all right, guys, let's move on to Mr. Kanye West, also known as Ye, and Bianca. So, can you tell me about the relationship between Kanye West and Censori? Thank you. I just want to see what Spirit has to say, like, right off the bat about them before we get into all the rumors and allegations and crazy shit that people keep us, you know, insinuating or saying about this situation. You keep forgetting that they're a couple. Oh, she's very pretty. I know it's easy to kind of look past when you see her in some of the crazy outfits, but she's a very beautiful girl. There's something big that they're working on together that's coming up in the underlying energy, and it's like searching for funding to pull this off. And it feels like it's more related because if you guys don't know, Bianca is an architect. And so she worked for Yeezy. That's how her and Kanye met. And her and somebody else just like released like some digital renderings of some buildings that they like designed. Spirit saying a big part of why they are in the Middle East right now in Saudi Arabia is because part of that is like seeing if like there is anywhere in the UAE that they could build these buildings, because it's like a test model, like here's the first ones that we build. You can go tour it. It's in Dubai or Saudi Arabia or, you know, Oman or somewhere else. And then, you know, we kind of did that. And then once we get interest, like then we're going to build some in Australia and then in the United States. But Spirit's talking about, it's like they're negotiating on that. Where's it going to be and how much money and, you know, how that's all going to like pan out for the time being. Okay, this is the thing first and foremost that both of them understands. Basically, anybody that deals with Kanye, because we especially know Page 666, TMZ, Daily Mail, like any of those publications that also tend to post a lot of shit about the K-Clan are obviously in Kris Jenner's pocket. So they're going to want to help spread the narrative that Kanye is this horrible person. TMZ has had a hard-on for Kanye even before he ever dealt with the K-Clan. They've always sent their paparazzi to bother him. They've always written stories about him. They like Harvey Levin seems to be like obsessed with wanting to suck Kanye's dick at this point, as far as I'm concerned, with how much he's hounded this man for years. And so Spirit's saying it's like, you know, Kanye already knows what the game is. Bianca's wise enough to figure out, like, okay, this is what's going to happen. That basically anybody that's attached to Kanye, they're going to claim he's controlling or he's crazy or he's mean, because that's the narrative that the K-Clan tried to play, why Kim had to leave him and why Kim needed to be protected from Kanye, and why Kim is just this perfect little innocent angel and Kanye's just so horrible and mean to her and always just trying to do horrible shit to her and can't respect her as a mother or whatever. And so when you make it not just the isolated incident that it only happened with Kim, but it's more so, oh look, this is Kanye's pattern, he's doing it to Bianca too now, then they get to keep that narrative going. And so it's like both of them were prepared and knew that like there was going to be so much bullshit that was said about them that's not true. And it's like they laugh about it. They actually really do. They think it's funny. And Spirit saying both of them troll the fuck out of the media. Sometimes when they're wearing their weird shit, it's on purpose because they're trolling because they know that the paparazzi is around. And so it's like, okay, then let's wear weird shit and have somber faces and act like we can't speak just to mess with them, because it's Kanye. He's a Gemini. Like, they're gonna fucking play, you know, and make a joke out of shit sometimes. If they're not gonna get mad and yell at you, they'll try to make you feel stupid and play a joke on you. Like, that's a classic air sign move. Like, we will make a fucking joke out of anything and troll anybody. And so a lot of it is trolling, and some of it is also, if you guys don't notice, there's a couple things that happen. It happens with everybody that does, you know, have something to sell. But especially it's very, very obvious and prevalent with like the K-Clan. And they learned this trick from Kanye. So remember before Kanye even made all of the different like sweatsuits and leggings and kind of active wear type stuff for Yeezy that was in beige and camel and all the neutral colors, he was already making Kim dress like that. Then everything came out, and then she was wearing all of the pieces constantly. And then the whole family was, and they would be very repetitive in that, you know, people were starting to complain and be like, does Kim ever wear anything but fucking sweats anymore and bike shorts? But guess what happened? At first, people thought it was fucking weird to wear bike shorts or to wear sweatsuits in public like that, or to wear them with high heels. And by the time that Kim was ready to start wearing different outfits, everybody was wearing those things because they pushed it and programmed you to normalize that. And then to think, I want Yeezy sweats. I want to start dressing in neutrals. And that's how they, like, you know, push a new trend basically. And so Spirit's saying, you know, when we see Kanye and Bianca wearing weird shit, it's because those are prototypes for things that he's considering releasing under the new Yeezy once he gets all of that stuff straightened out. And then because of that, it's like, you know, once I get all that straightened out and I have a distributor and everything, watch, Kanye's gonna come out with some fucking tights, or Bianca will. One of them is gonna release some damn tights. And then people are going to be like, okay, well, I don't have to wear it up to here like Bianca did. But look at what good ass tights these are, that she could wear them as like a whole fucking outfit all day long, and they lasted through that and they didn't get completely shredded. So like, maybe I'll buy some and wear them to work as a normal person would underneath my dresses or whatever. So Spirit's saying, you know, it's like, oh, we get to like program people, test trends, but also we get to make a mockery out of the paparazzi at the same time and kind of troll people. So he is not controlling her. The Spirit saying he's not mean to her. He doesn't tell her that she can't speak or eat. That's just crap that people are making up to make him seem like he's just this absolute fucking monster and nightmare to deal with. So, is this relationship gonna last forever and ever and ever? Probably not. But it's gonna last longer than people are giving it credit for. And she is not being rescued by her friends from this supposed, you know, kidnapping that they're acting like Kanye has done to her. So, Spirit saying he's finishing things up when like, this is the thing that people also don't understand, because people were making a big deal trying to say that, like, oh, you know, if it wasn't that she was leaving on her own volition to go back home and visit her family, and that her friends supposedly stayed, you know, did this intervention or whatever they were saying that they did, that the flip side of that, you know, whole situation was that Kanye made her leave, and he told her that he's done with her and he needs a break from her, and he'll just figure out what he wants to do with their relationship later. Okay. Any person who can even slightly call themselves a Kanye fan knows when Kanye is in album mode, he locks himself in the studio. He goes away. Like when he was with Kim, he would go to Paris for months on end. Like he had to fly in from Paris to make it for North's birth because he was finishing up an album there. And he did a bunch of his albums in Hawaii. Like he hibernates like a bear, and he doesn't really like deal with like girlfriends, wives, his relationships. It's just 24/7 Kanye in the studio. All he's doing is focusing on music. So Spirit saying nobody told the other one that they were leaving or had to leave. It was, well, since you're just gonna go isolate yourself anyways, and I'm barely gonna see you, and it's a closer plane ride to Australia where I'm from here, I'm gonna go home and visit my family for a bit. You do that and everything will be fine, and we'll see each other when I get back. So people just be making up absolute bullshit. But hey, Cleo. Hey, Ange. Princess, you feel so exposed when you wear tights. I do too. I like that Bianca goes along with it and is down with the pettiness. Oh, she totally knows what she's doing. So we'll get into the Kim aspect of it. I have to get off of here in about 10 minutes, guys. But by the way, Black Friday already started on my website, so you can use code THANKS, all in caps, to get half off any appointment on the site, psychicthelove.com. And if you want to join us over on Patreon, we have exclusive content over there that I don't post here. It is patreon.com/psychicthelove. Oh, and you guys, I have to tell you the cutest little thing that happened with the kittens. So every morning and in the afternoons too, when I feed the cats, like they start gathering like around my stairs when they know like, oh, this is around the time that she's gonna come out and feed us. And so Michael, Tyler, and Tori are always bumping into each other and competing with each other for who's gonna get the first pets and whose turn it is to get a pet now. And like, to the point that like I have to be like, you guys, like move out of the way because I'm always scared that they're gonna trip me and I'm gonna fall down the rest of the stairs. And even walking over to where I feed them, they're just like running in front of me, like, no, I want to turn. So Michael always does these little meows, like, don't forget me when I am petting them, because usually Tori and Tyler smash him in between the two of them. And so it's like, no, like, I also want my pets. And Michael's the little one-eyed baby. So the fact that he's become so friendly after he was so scared and skittish for the longest is like huge. Because even a couple months ago, like, I thought he'll probably be the last one to be friendly. But my neighbor was coming down the stairs at the same time and she was about to walk to school. Michael ran over to her and I thought he like got mixed up, but he decided that he wanted some pets and that since Tori and Tyler were getting all of the pets, he was going to go get them from the neighbor. And he sat there and let her pet him. Like, they let me pet them, but I have not seen any of the kittens let anybody else pet them. So that was like huge, because it's so much easier to, you know, get somebody to take these kittens if they will also let people other than me touch them. And as much as I would love to keep all of them, I cannot have 7 new kittens move in with me. So, you know, we got to find them some homes. But that was huge. And then poor Onika this morning, she decided that she wanted to get in on getting some pet action, and she got smashed in between all of the boys. She was so freaking annoyed. She has the funniest attitude and like the most expressive face, so you can just tell when she's like getting all pissy because they're like bumping into her and knocking her over and smashing her. So, but they're all doing really good otherwise. And Onika is moving around much easier. So, I did see their dad chase Carlos the other day. So, I'm hoping to God that that means that Dad is now going to fight Carlos if it goes near them. Because I know that wasn't enough to scare Carlos away from them. So their dad is known as asshole cat in our complex because he beats the shit out of every other cat. So we're like, well, you know what? Why don't you take what you're good for and go beat up Carlos cat, because our little teeny tiny guy that got dumped, he's not from the same litter as these kittens. So he's probably only about like 10 weeks old right now. His whole face right here, he got the Joker smile slash from Carlos. She ripped out 2 of the other kittens' eyebrows and then tore up Onika's whole entire side, and she's been limping around. So that's why I was just like, you little bitch. Get away from my kittens. Everybody in the complex calls them Bella's babies. So, because I be feeding them and taking care of them and socializing them. So, oh my God, Princess, if you lived anywhere near the Bay Area or the Central Valley in California, I would be like, come get a kitten. I will meet you wherever you need to meet me at. Shit, I'll even take an Uber into Sacramento if I had to. But Onika definitely needs a Barb to adopt her. So that way she can keep her name and somebody that understands the importance of that name with that little girl and why she has it. Oh, those kittens, when they're little like that, oh, holy shit, are they little monsters that get into everything and constantly need attention, and they're literally like having a baby or a toddler. So anyways, let's see what Kim has to say and then we'll wrap it up. So this is so funny, you know, regardless of people being like, oh my God, Bianca looks so goofy because she's wearing tights up to here and then carrying a pillow you know, around Italy over her chest because people were complaining. Kim is so fucking jealous that that wasn't her, though. Because she feels like, oh, look at how much attention that they're getting, number one. And number two, she's getting all this attention for the outfits that she's wearing because Kim wants to be the world's ultimate clothes hanger and constantly, you know, because we've seen Kim wear some ugly and weird shit. The girl will wear anything if she thinks it's going to get her attention or make her some sort of a fashion icon. And so it's like, oh, this bitch is getting all the attention that I'm used to getting. And so that pisses her off. But what does she tell other people? She goes around and telling everybody, oh, look it, he's just trying to make a new me. Oh, they're copying how our dynamic was. Which, Kim, before you, there was Amber Rose. And Amber Rose has credited Kanye with dressing her when they were together and refining her look and elevating the outfits that she was wearing. So you are not his first muse. You will never be his last muse. It's... But Kim, you know, her narcissism will not let that down. You know, it's funny too, because she's so jealous and hateful, and she was so expecting that Kanye was going to run around pining over her for the rest of his life, that Kim was the love of his life that got away and he just can't function now without her. And that really didn't happen the way that she was hoping that it would. If Kim had the opportunity to cheat with Kanye just to break up him and Bianca, she would do it. And then she would spin a whole narrative around how Kanye went and worked on himself and healed, and he's on his medication now, and it's their second chance at love because she hasn't found anybody better to replace him, and she doesn't like watching herself get replaced. And it would just be, you know, just to fuck up that whole situation and just to cause discord in somebody else's life and to get all the attention back on her because she knows that people would talk about Kim Ye's back together fucking nonstop. So in the meantime, because she knows that Kanye would not go for that, she's hating from the sidelines. She's having her people feed stories to TMZ and Page 6 and, you know, doing the negative spin to try to cast doubt on this relationship and make it seem like, oh, they're just, you know, Kanye's just a monster and poor Bianca, but it's really just Kim and Chris trying to start shit and trying to smear Kanye's name. So, which, by the way, guys, go to Heather McDonald's Juicy Scoop podcast. She had a guy on that, I think he was on the House of Kardashians like documentary that everybody was talking about that just came out. She did an interview with him, and he used to manage Scott and Ray J at the same time, and he still works with Ray J, and it's like he added so much context to that whole situation that happened when Ray J like flipped out on them, like what was it, last year or the year before. And basically he was saying that like they were trying to sell one of Ray J's companies, and then when Kim came out and started acting like, you know, the whole, oh, you still have a tape on me and you sold this to people and it was tarnishing Ray J's reputation, like the deal fell through and they lost millions of dollars. But something interesting that he said is that Kanye and Ray J are now friends and talk to each other all the time. So I'm sure that Kim loves that. So Anyways, guys, but yeah, go check that out. It was really good. He spilled a lot of good tea about all of that situation and some interesting stuff about Scott too that I've never heard anywhere else. But anyways, guys, I have to go because I have to take all this stuff down and get ready to call my client. But I hope everybody has a good one. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you have a great one. If you don't, or it's going to be a hard day for you, I'm sending you all my love and support. If you want to book your own personal and private reading, you can go to psychicbellelove.com and use code THANKS to get 50% off any appointment on the site. And if you want more exclusive content from me, you can go to patreon.com/psychicbellelove. That's the only place I do any requests. So I love you guys. I hope everybody has a good week. You guys will have other videos. And I did upload a podcast episode on my second channel for you guys too. So make sure you go check that out and hit the thumbs up button on the way out. It's a free way to support and help the channel.